Luyonga Nkata, names from which fortune arose through his teaching, resulting into a fountain whose waters are scattered across the Pearl of Africa with drops of his sweat felt in many a people in whose lives he sowed seeds of wisdom. Dr. James Luyonga Nkata, a lifetime teacher he has been, and while in a classroom his devotion exceeded beyond the worldly pleasures, his sacrifices have been worthy of the grade 2 teacher he was and the Director General of Uganda Management Institute that he is today. A former head teacher, Education Officer in 1990 to 1992, Principal Education Officer and District Education Officer 1993 to 1996, Dr. James Nkata also headed the Department of Higher Education at Makerere University in 1996 to 1999, was the Director of East African Institute of Higher Education Studies, Makerere University 1999 to 2009, and he is also currently the Chairperson of the National Executive Committee, YMCA, and the Chancellor of YMCA Comprehensive Institute. Now, the blocks that have built the legacy of an institution like Uganda Management Institute have been set up by those whose record has been unquestionable to be able to keep the heritage. Now, one of a kind is Dr. James Nkata, who is the current Director General of the Uganda Management Institute and is here on People and Power. Welcome to People and Power.
Thank you. Welcome.
Okay, so I'll start off by asking if you have always been a man of academia.
Yes, I've been a man of academia for quite a long time, right from my younger age up to today. And I've made up my life through academics, more than 40 years
Wow.
in academics. And I am professionally a teacher. I've gone through the ladders of a teacher, right from grade 2 teacher. I've gone through all of the grades up to a university lecturer, and now Director General of one of the best higher education institutions in this country.
Okay, so have your aspirations today, when we speak of them in terms of how they've been changing over the years, been so different from those when you were a young man?
The characteristics of the education system were different from the characteristics of the current education system. For example, if I were to give you my personal lived experience, when I finished my primary education, at the time when I finished my primary education, we had 3 options. Either you go to a teacher's college, a secondary school, or a technical school. At that time, the best quality from the primary leaving exams went to teachers' colleges. The second best quality went to secondary schools, and the rest went to technical schools. That's how I found myself in the teachers' college, because I'd scored highly at the primary leaving exams. Today, it's the reverse.
Yeah.
People who go into the teaching profession are those that have not passed well, or those that have failed to go to other areas.
Yeah.
During my time, people were not so in for degrees. People were in for getting qualification that could lead them to do something in their lives. Today, it's a different scenario. Everybody wants to get a degree, even if that degree will not help him or her. And that's a difference between what it was at that time and what it is today.
One may wonder, how did a grade 2 teacher become a Director General of UMI?
Oh, yes. Now, being a grade 2 teacher does not mean that you don't have a brain and intelligence to become somebody else. As I told you earlier, at our time, the teachers' colleges were the first institutions
for best performers.
Yeah. So I was among the best performers. So I was a little bit intelligent at that time. But again, to tell you the longer story, is that in teaching, nobody promotes you. You promote yourself through your personal initiatives. You upgrade to a level you want.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. I upgraded from all of those levels and I attained the highest qualification in academia.
So what set of values would you say set up your character representation?
There are two values. The first value is that always in life, I obey my conscience. Whatever my conscience tells me is what I do. And that's how I was shaped up. I was fortunate enough, I was shaped up through my early years and later years through a Catholic-oriented institutions. And these are known for shaping up people to adopt the best values of life. The second value is to love and appreciate people. I like people. And I always quest for success of other people. So I respect success and I enjoy success of people. And I've done it. For example, when I came to UMI here, we had only 2 PhD holders. Now, after some 9 years, we have more than 20 PhD holders in this institution. And that is success. And I enjoy seeing people succeeding through my hands. I also enjoy helping people to succeed.
At times, one's principles aren't the same beliefs that probably drives other people's career paths. Would you say they're the same things that you preach in administrative circles?
Yes. Wherever I go. And I've had several administrative positions. I was a DO. I was a director of an institute in Makerere. Now I'm a director general of UMI. And wherever I go, I instill those values in people through demonstration. First of all, I demonstrate them to people, and the people appreciate them. And when they appreciate them, they also adopt them.
Okay. Yeah. So what kind of drive did you need then to push you, for example, from your first paying job as a teacher to actually going back to school to upgrade, probably not the same sense that youth today feel to actually pursue a career path?
Yeah, see, I've been driven by one thing. That's the quest to succeed. And the quest to succeed has driven all my efforts and my movements in life. And I've tried all my best to ensure that I succeed. So if you want to succeed, you set up your targets of success. And I set up my targets of success in life. Let me give you an example. When I had just finished my first degree in Makerere University, I told my colleagues that in the next 10 years I will have a PhD. And everybody laughed at me. They thought it was impossible. And within less than 10 years, I had a PhD. And during my graduation of a PhD, I reminded them that I told you.
You rubbed it in their faces.
That in 10 years, I'll have a PhD. In less than 10 years, I've had a PhD. Because I set up my target. And once you set up a target in life, you pursue it. Pursue it madly until you achieve it. Only becomes sane when you have achieved it. But when you are pursuing it, you do all that you can, of course, in a positive way, to pursue your goal in life. And that's what I've done.
Weren't your goals ever different at all from the teaching profession, the fact that you were actually nurtured in a Catholic setup?
Yes. During my early years, I dreamt of becoming a priest. And I tried.
Okay.
Possibly, I was not called to the vocation. So, priests are teachers as well. So when I became a teacher, I satisfied part of my early years desire of becoming a priest. And that's why I've remained a teacher for the last 45 years to today. Yes.
Do
So
you
that's
think
the-
you would have made a better priest than a teacher?
I don't know, because you see, being good at something depends on how you look at it and what you get out of it. Possibly if God had chosen me to become a priest, I would have appreciated being a priest, and I would have been a good priest. But because now God chose me to become a teacher, I appreciated being a teacher, and I've remained a teacher, and I enjoy teaching. And I don't regret.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's go back to your childhood a little bit. What do you remember of your school going days as a child that you feel you've actually carried forward to date?
Yeah. See, as a child, I started my primary education in a village school, where everything in that school was done by the students, including cleaning the compound. And this being a Catholic school, we cherished a lot our Catholic beliefs. They taught us how to be honest, how to work hard, how to love people, how to respect people, and most importantly, how to respect things which are not yours and pay values to them. So that's how I was brought up in a primary school. Now, when I ventured into the teaching profession, of course, in a Catholic teachers' institution, those values were carried forward, and those work habits were carried forward. So my school days were not school days of today's children. I used to walk 7 miles from my father's house to a primary school in Busuju called the Kande Primary School. It was 7 miles away. And on the way, I used to bypass 2 schools. One was a Protestant school, the other one was a Muslim school. But the reason why my father forced me to walk, because he wanted me to get those deep-rooted values he himself was cherishing in the Catholic Church, and I was brought up like that. So the schools where I started from taught me how to work hard, taught me those values. And it's those values that I'm anchoring my life today. And I thank God I went to those schools. If I don't go to those schools, then I would be a different Nkata possibly by this time. But I thank God I went to them. So I don't regret my childhood background, right from home, through the primary schools I started in, through the post-primary institutions I went through. They shaped my life.
Most of the time, we always feel that people in academia often sacrifice a lot to get where they are. Would you say you've done the same?
Yes. If you want to succeed in academia, you sacrifice so many other things that the people of your age, people of your level enjoy. And I've done the same. For example, my youth years as a younger man, I don't enjoy the youth years the way the younger people enjoy their lives today. I spent much of my time reading and studying. And the first half of my life, was spent in schools and in universities. So I could not go to a nightclub because I didn't have time to go to a nightclub. I'm a football lover. And I missed a lot of football matches in Achivubo. I used to support Express and Villa at that time. I could not even go and watch those good teams of mine because I didn't have time.
At all?
At all. Because all the time I was reading. Mind you, much of the reading I was doing it privately.
On your own?
On my own.
Locked up in a room
yes,
somewhere?
locked up in a room, in my rooms, and read, do exams, some programs I did my correspondence, and then sometimes I studied through help of other people. So I didn't have time to enjoy the youthful days as a younger man would have enjoyed because I didn't have time for it, whatever was going on. But I don't regret. My principle of life is suffer for the short time and be happy for the rest of your life.
Wow.
And that is my
That's
principle of life. I suffered for a short time, even if they were about 15, 20 years. Now I'm above 60. and I'm a very happy man. I don't want to say I'm not happy. I'm a very happy guy.
Would you say if you were not happy?
Yes, I would say so. And there are so many people who say they are not happy because they never succeeded. What drives me to be happy is that I've succeeded.
Yeah.
I have achieved my goal. So my psychological satisfaction is almost made because I have achieved my lifetime goal I set up when I was still a younger man at the university. That's why I'm happy. And I'm happy that God has endowed me with the children, and they have all gone to school. I don't rent a house. I don't border. I can drive myself. I can feed myself. I can treat myself in the hospital. I can do whatever I want to do, what I want to do.
Yeah.
So I don't regret, and I'm a happy man, and I pray that I remain happy till supposedly God says, you come back to me.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So when you look back at your days, probably let's say teaching, I won't specify whether primary or even secondary schools where you taught, which memories keep coming back of those schools when you were probably standing in front of students and teaching?
There are several memories. I went and taught in the Air Force School in Entebbe.
Okay.
And you know, teaching children of soldiers, sometimes even teaching soldiers, was not easy. So, and what amused me when I was in Entebbe, I slept in the barracks.
Okay.
But I was not a soldier.
A barracks with soldiers.
With soldiers.
What was the
But I
experience
was not a
like?
soldier. And more so, I don't know whether I've ever slept in a uniport. Whether you know what a uniport is.
I know what a uniport is.
Yes.
I've never slept
During
in
the day it's very hot.
Okay.
At night it's very cold.
Yeah.
That was the teacher's house I used to live in. Then from there, I had another experience in Kampala. I taught in the Kampala schools, in the Kampala primary, taught in the Kampala High, taught in the Korolo SS. But my best memory of all of these schools is that all the children I've taught, many of them have succeeded.
Really? Like who?
You know Dr. Gororo?
Yeah.
He's in Rwanda now.
Yeah.
He was my primary student.
Student?
He's succeeded.
Okay.
And so many others. So I always feel happy whenever I go through the tower. Sometimes I don't recognize my former students.
But of course they recognize you.
Yeah, they recognize me. And at that time, they never called us teachers. They called us master. So as you go around, they say, Master Nkata. Say, who are you? You see a very old woman, old man calling you Master Nkata. Say, who are you? Yeah, you taught me in this school. And sometimes these people are in very high positions. Somebody calls you in a very posh car and is calling you Master Nkata. So you taught me. And when I look at such an individual, I really feel very happy. Say, that's my product. I've had in the university several people I have taught and supervised. I don't want to mention the names here, but I've supervised more than 19 PhD holders in this country, successfully, and more than 500 master's students, successfully, because I've never taught an undergraduate class throughout my academic life.
You've never?
Never.
It's always been
It's
masters?
always a postgraduate students, and you know what it means. You come for postgraduate training when you have a job or somebody else. And very many high-profile characters in this country have gone through my hands. And if you look around my office here, you can see a number of theses and dissertations of my former students. They make up a whole library.
Wow.
So I feel very happy whenever I find a student that went through my hands in a position and succeeding. And let me remind you, happiness of a teacher lies in the success of his students. And I love the teaching profession because teachers celebrate the success of their students, unlike other professions. I've never seen a medical doctor standing at the door front of a hospital celebrating the release of a patient from a hospital. But I have seen many teachers, whenever they release the results, teachers dancing and celebrating with their students.
They jump up and down.
Celebrating the success of their products. Sometimes me, I'm not satisfied with material things. My satisfaction lies in success of people I've helped to succeed.
Okay.
That's why I always make sure that wherever I go, I make people succeed. Because I've struggled also to succeed, and I have tested the beauty of success.
Okay.
I want everybody to taste that beauty.
Yes. Wow.
Yes.
People and power. This episode belongs to the Director General of the Uganda Management Institute, that is Dr. James Nkata. Before we go for a short break, if you're not doing anything to do with academia, meaning you're not at UMI, you're not supervising anybody, you're not signing documents to do with the institution, what is it that you would be doing?
I enjoy farming.
Okay.
Because I grew up in a farming community.
Yeah.
And I know the skills of farming. And I enjoy it. And I'm doing it. I have animals.
Yeah.
I'm rearing. I have plantations, banana plantations, and so on. So many crops I'm growing. And during my free time, I enjoy looking at my animals. They really amuse me.
Okay.
I enjoy looking at my banana plantation, see, I enjoy looking at my pigs. I'm sorry for the Muslims. I'd say, there was a time when I had about 400 pigs.
Okay.
I could go to the pig house.
Yeah.
I said, this is mine. You see them moving up and down.
Okay.
I enjoy farming. And during my free time, that's what I do. Much of my life, I've been living in Kampala for more than 30 years in the city center,
Okay.
where there was no farming. But again, people who know me when I was still living in Old Kampala, I had a poultry farm in the city center. I enjoyed that.
Okay.
Currently, I have a farm somewhere in the Wakiso district. And every evening, that's where I drive off stress from the office.
Okay.
You come out of the office tired, you go and look at your animals. You look at your plantations.
Gives you
You
peace.
steam off the stress because you get satisfied that I have something I'm doing. So when I retire, I don't want to go into business in town. I want to retire back to the village and enjoy farming.
Dr. James Nkata, people and power. We'll return after a short break.